Welcome to the final map of today, the first day of playoffs, stage 2 of Polaris. I'm Janiro, your host. I still got MP with me on the desk. He doesn't seem to be one of leaving my side. And then this time around, however, we are joined by our dear friend Pavlos. Now, Finest, they didn't really look at their finest on the first map specifically. The second map, however, they were, yeah, it was, it's all I can reach. My high,
So fun.
The second map, however, they did manage to walk away with that win. We're now heading towards Icebox with Pavlos. Finest and Hukars, how are you feeling about their performances?
I'm not feeling too great about either of their performances, quite frankly. I think, yeah, okay, Hukars did an amazing comeback on the first map, but the fact that they were there in the first place was troubling. The fact that they were there on the second map as well, also troubling. You can't afford to have those mistakes. Yes, Finest have some great reads, but they fall flat. So I think what this series has proven so far is that both of these teams have got work to do, because I think Excel are on their high horse right now, riding the wave of the upper bracket and feeling comfortable about this, because they've just witnessed all of the teams competing in Polaris, and they're just saying, yeah, this should be easy.
Yeah, and one of the things, obviously, Excel, they look kind of sloppy here and there as well. They have their moments, definitely. But we know the Excel that they can definitely bring out when they bring out the strats, the set plays, everything. And this is definitely a showing that Excel is right here. Finest Hukars right here, and I think Kova is somewhere like a little bit under, maybe in between.
Come on, guys.
Okay. I think Excel, they are just so much better right now. If Finest and Hukars, even though like it doesn't matter which one goes further here, I think it's gonna be really tough facing against Excel, especially if they play like they're playing right now. Icebox, yeah, it's a different map. It's kind of different compared to like Fracture and Bind. You have to control mid, you have to go for those lurks. Obviously in Fracture you have those as well. But Icebox, it works differently. I think you need the operator even more. I think it's going to be tough for both of these teams, especially when we were talking about that Excel phase.
I know that Finest have a unique way of playing Icebox currently. Like, they're playing sort of an old school style of how that map used to be played. And, you know, I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all if it works. But it's just sometimes it doesn't, right? It's a bit so and so, which is what is a little bit troubling in this situation. But I think in general, this series can be taken by either of these two teams, right? Both of these teams have shown some strengths. Both of them have shown some weaknesses. But what's clear about this is the fact that we need them to improve on what they're not good at, right? Hukars start off strong, right? Be able to be more adaptable at the start, be able to pull out strats quicker and not take time to them to adjust to a new map. And Finest, just start breathing a lot earlier on.
Yeah, I think in Finest's performance so far, we've seen a couple of timeouts being thrown in the mix, not as much coming out from the side of Hukars, but we spoke about the pistol rounds earlier on. We spoke about how both of these teams are pretty good at securing those pistol rounds, playing off of them, getting the lead. How important is that first pistol round going to be for either team, considering Finest, they're coming in on a high, they just got to win, but Hukars, they're not.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen both of these teams have been able to use like the momentum they get from pistol rounds. They win those 4 rounds, they can convert the 3rd round as well. I think it's going to be really important, but overall, I think both of the pistols are going to be important. It's not just about the first one, because it's really close matchups. It's really, really tough games right here. And this could be really close. 13-10 was the last scoreline. Yeah. That one pistol round, even 2 pistol rounds, that could skew the score on the other way.
Yeah.
Well, it's exciting, and that's what I'm looking forward to.
And what else is going to be skewing it is these agents, specifically the picks, Pavlos. Anything standing out to you?
Yes, Finest has switched away from the comp they used to play. They used to pick up that jet quite a bit. Now they're onto that raise. Hukars, very traditional. Are they going with a Killjoy play? I like that, but it's a little bit more passive. Doesn't really allow for too much aggression, which means that this game will be dictated by Finest's tempo, really.
Yeah, I think Hukars, I love this comp. This is like the Fnatic comp. I think G2 maybe even run this. This is really good, really passive. You have a lot of ground you can cover with those sentinel traps on the defensive side and attacking as well.
Yeah, well, for the final map of this evening, we got Moxie and Twiggy on the mics once again. They've both kind of lost their minds, but they're back after the break. Guys, take it away.
I'm glad you missed me. I'm glad. I'm very glad because I'm here for the third. I'm here for the whole run. I'm not just, you know, you don't get a Twiggy for Christmas. You get a Twiggy for the whole series. So we're heading here to Icebox. Hukar's obviously running a pretty standard comp. I do like this. Obviously, you know, you saw this kind of thing a lot early on when Icebox was put into the map pool. Instead of Chamber, you'd have a Jet, obviously, but you know, things change. Times change. Chamber changes. Chamber never changes. He's a down-to-earth man. Anyway.
But one thing that's definitely not going to change is the importance of pistols for both of these teams. We do see a lot of importance, not just on economy, but for morale as well, as Machina has pretty much pushed all the way past Nest into Pipes, waiting to see whether or not there is going to be challenge over towards the A, which is where their toxin screen is set up, so Hukar's are going to have a lot of control if that spike does go down, which is why you can see Finest just waiting in the wings to cut them off and not let them get a free spike plant.
Yeah, at the very least, Hukar's composition lends itself to stopping flanks from happening. Obviously, the Killjoy behind is going to give a lot of info. You've got a Chamber, you've got a Killjoy that can lock off 2 areas, which is the only amount of lanes that you need to lock off when you're committing to a site. Luckily, but they're playing it so slowly here, Hukar's. They don't want to give away any information. They just want to let Finest run down the clock with a little bit of utility. David finding the first with the Headhunter. Didn't quite find a head, or didn't quite hunt a head, but at least it did its job. It got a kill. Bonkar waiting for the plant to happen, or not. A little premature with it, but he does take down part of the wall at the very least. Mast is going to be able to get that spike down, but at the cost of a lot of health. Has to run all the way away, gets away with a life, and Hukar's stick with 5 members into this retake from Finest, who, I mean, they were already there. It's just they need to take that position back. David finding the second with the Headhunter. Can he do any more with that weapon before the end of this round? Bonkar takes out Mishu with... Oh, that's a nice flash. Once again, Kix has really got those pop flashes down. But this time doesn't allow him a kill, just allows him a little bit of position. There's only 2 players left on the Finest side. Kix comes around the corner, finds the first head. David is there with the trade, and now it's just Bonkar, and they know his positioning there on yellow. A monumentous task that will not happen. David getting a 4K here in the pistol round of Icebox, and the Hukar's showing exactly what they want to bring to the table.
Yeah, there's a moment where even though Finest have full control of mid, and honestly quite a fair bit control of the B side as well, where the spike should be planted, they're very hesitant. They don't know whether Hukar's are actually going to be pushing to the B side, and you can actually see Machina use the rendezvous to check A, just in case it is just smoke and mirrors. And in that moment where they give away that level of control, allowing Hukar's to move forward, get the spike down with that wall, and then immediately pull back, that's when they lose the round. Thankfully, they are going to be going for the full traditional economy, coming out a couple of classics, 2 sheriffs, 1 for Kix, 1 for Destructive, who should be first points of contact for this team, especially with that KO, putting yourself into a position where you can find those picks either off of the back of the damage that Fragment ticks off, or the information, but Machina with a Headhunter is nothing to sniff at either.
Yep, takes out the other Headhunter as well. David is not going to be able to bring any bullets to the table for that one. Special bullets that you have to pay extra for. Machina has 2 of them currently left in the chamber, as Finest can regroup a little bit as Hukar's head over towards B main. Finest ready for this one, but they are coming into much higher firepower, so they need to make those shots count. Sunshine bides his time, waits for that recon dart. They can move forward. They now know that somebody is yellow at the very least. They now know another one is yellow because Kix has got that kill. Turns around the corner. He will find that first pick, but Akimbo is there to take away his life, making it a 2v3. Can they get that spike down? Probably. The wall is right up there, allowing for that spike to be planted. Mars finds 1, but gets traded out very quickly. Akimbo needs to do a lot of work. Will find 2 headshots with that Spectre. Looking for Bonkar now, playing ring around the rosy here. Yellow, just waiting, biding his time, but he thinks he's gone. Snowman, that's not where he's gone. No! Bonkar misses the critical shot. Akimbo takes his head off and makes it 2 rounds. Hukar should never have won that little 1v1 there.
It's really tough when you have a classic and you're up against an SMG.
Yeah.
Because if you do not land those first shots, they're going to swing around and they're going to spray. Yeah. And that spray is going to connect and you are going to lose the round, lose your life. For Finest though, it was costly. It's not a full bonus coming out from Hukar's, right? They only had 1 survivor. So as a result, they have 4 sheriffs and only 1 vandal. For Finest, it's now become a lot easier to gain control of this space, something that we've already seen Hookahs be very hesitant to actually put themselves into danger and step forward.
David is the first to take on the brunt of this force. He is the one with the rifle. Over destructive, sees a glimpse of Mask to make sure that no wall will be going down today, which puts Hookahs in an awkward position here on their save round, or bonus round, I should say. However, if at least they can get a kill, they'll be quite happy. They have done a lot of damage so far, which makes their jobs a little bit easier with those sheriffs in hand. It's just going to be planting the spike. That is a difficult, daunting task. Trying to get around that corner. They now need to clear a lot. Kicks manages to find a collateral. I'm not quite sure where that was or how that was or why that was. But David, almost finds a lovely 2K. Not going to happen, but has taken down 2 players of the enemy team now. They're just playing it slow. I mean, they really don't care about the spike at this point. As long as they can get kills, as long as they can make Finest sweat it, they'll be pretty happy with the outcome of this round.
Well, Finest have pulled back. They know that Hookahs are going to be looking for those picks.
Yep.
And they have a lot of information that those players are still going to be on the B side. All you need to do, if you're Yassine, is hop out with those paint shells, but isn't actually able to stop the spike from being planted.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of an error. Machina is going to actually give the position away by shooting out that trademark, and now it's a matter of time. Finest have to put themselves into a position where they can pincer in on Hookahs and catch them on 2 opposing angles. Hookahs have gone back to back, so they're going to be able to save themselves and make sure that these fights get separated into the 1 versus 1s. Mishu's 20 HP, uses the drone for a split second to see where these players are going to be stacked. It's unfortunately not going to be able to contest the defuse, and Finest are able to get another round.
Yeah, it was decent from Hookahs, just wasn't quite enough to tip it over the line. They were working with 4 sheriffs. It was an unlikely climb to begin with, but they also have a tour de force. They have enough money to buy weaponry for the rest of the team, so they've done just about their job. Wow, Kicks just manages to find that collateral headshot there. Perfectly placed, as all things should be. Finest working with a bit of an interesting buy, but you know, they've got 3 rifles to work with. Yassine has picked up the Judge. I think Bonkar is allergic to the touch of one now. He's had enough bad experiences for one day with that weapon. Yassine is going to sit right up on top of here and wait, lie in wait with his dragon Judge. Dragon this Judge across your... Yes.
Across green.
Yes.
Well, Hookahs are actually going to be pushing over onto the A. Kicks should get, yeah, that's the information. 2 Sentinels now going to be spotted out. As the Sova and the Killjoy now picked out. As David has to know. Someone's behind that toxin screen. When the curtain lifts, no one's behind the toxin screen. Tour de Force just going to be keeping control of Belt so that the rest of the team can try and speedrun their way over onto the A side if they want to. And Spike has been picked up. Twiggy, it's now actually making its way towards the site. Akibo has a lot of control over mid. It is going to be spotted out by that recon bolt, so Hookahs do know that there's going to be pressure in that position, but is actually preventing that flank, allowing Hookahs to try and push forward, but no one's unseated Machina, and he's able to find 2 before he goes down.
Yassine gets on the board as well. Master's going to have to do a lot, but he only manages to find 1. And Kicks is still getting value there on the ground. David can't really do much while all of his abilities are unusable. He's getting revived. David doesn't hit the shot. Kicks is revived. They managed to save 4 rifles in that round. That, I mean, yeah, they had a decent buy, but Hookahs definitely had the upper hand in that round and squandered it a little bit with not quite checking corners, or not quite checking below them, their Sunshine, as they pushed in.
That's not the value you really want to find on a round where you use Tour de Force. As now, Finest have a Tour de Force of their own that they can invest in Hookahs' economy. They've got 1 rifle that's going to be going into the hands of David, who knows that you do have to go toe-to-toe with Machina, find that early contact, try and let Hookahs find a little bit of momentum and contest these angles, because you're the one who can get out unpunished if you run into a couple too many players, as Machina isn't actually even using the ultimate. They're just more than content to spray and make sure that no one from Hookahs can actually make it out of Garage.
Yeah, they got their value last round. They don't really need to push the issue too much further. Machina can't quite find the head of Mishu for a second time. And now shoulder peeking commences. Oh, and it's perfect. Cloak and dagger. David comes up from the opposite angle, takes off the head of Machina. That's a really important pick. It's flip-flopping back and forth. The team with the lower economy seems to be able to get the upper hand in every round so far. And now Hookahs, they reconvene. There is a meeting of the Avengers of Denmark.
Destructive hasn't actually moved. It's still anchoring towards the B, and the second that you actually see any movement out from Garage, you're going to be able to give the heads up to your scene to hold this crossfire, make it so hard for Hookahs to move. And every position on this defense right now is because Kix is still on the A, is sniffing out all of these positions, seeing that no one's in maze. It has to be a B push with only 28 seconds left. Destructive goes down, but does get the information. And Yassine can just hide in tower, is going to get the slow up, is going to try and use the satchel. Maybe they can stop the spike from going through. They should at least be able to destroy the wall and start to spray, but no pick is found.
Value.
And no value. Hookahs now have all of the time to be able to pull back into yellow, and they've got full 5 players.
Viper's pit as well. David gets his 3rd pick with the only rifle the team has. The amount of value this man has gotten single-handedly, well, 2-handedly, do need 2 to hold the gun, at least to be safe, is absolutely insane. Kix manages not to make it into the smoke. Misha will take the head off, and now it's just Bonkar left, and Hookahs really shouldn't have won this round. I don't know how many times I can say it in this game, but they shouldn't have won this round. And yet, lo and behold, they have.
Yeah. Finest believe that just by having Yassine sitting up in tower with those satchel packs, if Hookahs go for the speedrun Sage wall, they will be able to break the wall and get the spray to connect onto the Sentinel and stop the spike from going on through.
Yeah. They all do die to the spike, which loses them 2 rifles. But they have none. They have money. Who cares? They have insurance on that, I'm sure.
They have a lockdown too,
What's
but they're going to have
Danish
to be...
insurance like?
I don't know.
I'll have to ask a Danish person. Anyway.
Where did that even come from?
I don't know, man. Look, I'm at the dregs here. First map was brilliant. I had so much content to work with. Now we're slowing down. The day is drawing to a close. Hookahs are fighting their way through these rounds. And
Oh
no, I thought that was going to be a collateral. Machina gets away with 17 HP. But he got the pick onto David, importantly too. That is not something that can be understated. Not something that can be overstated, in fact. Sunshine waiting around the corner to get this one, and Machina does have to back up because of that recon dart, but the rest of Finest, they have congregated over towards A. They're waiting for this push from Hookahs, and now Yassine is in the back. A thorn in Hookahs' side, stopping them from rotating. That means they have to commit to this site, and nobody seems to be checking flank either. That may come back to bite them, and it will. There's the first pick. He'll back up. Machina takes the second in the commotion. Pretty sure there's not really much else they can do. Mishu is just going to push in, force the issue, get the first pick, looking for the second. What is that? He just turns around the corner, takes off Machina's head. He moves in. Sunshine can get that spike planted. Yassine throws in a desperate nade, and it will catch Sunshine. That will make it just Mishu left against the world. 1v3. Kix moves in. You can see the barrel of his gun, but it doesn't get anything. Yassine throws his ult over Mishu's head, but Bonkar is able to stop him from doing a little more damage in the end. Finest take away the round by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah, Hookahs do make it pretty costly, right? You do lose 3 rifles on the side of Finest, thanks to that lockdown actually detaining 2 players. Because for Finest, there was a coin flip moment where it seemed like they wanted to stay on the site and hug the corners that the lockdown wasn't affecting. The fact that you still could have really had a player up in rafters. Yeah, a little bit out in the open, but not detained and still able to shoot. All of that then goes away when the flank comes through and it actually gets the pick and they think, okay, maybe we can stay, and then the lockdown completes and they're stuck right in the middle of it. Yeah. So Hookahs do translate that to a pick, but at the same time, Finders know they have the better weaponry, as long as they don't give up that space, as long as they don't let Hookahs cycle through utility when that spike is planted, they can still control the situation, as once more, Finders really controlling a lot of early parts of these rounds, making sure that that space is theirs, and that if Hookahs do really want to contest this, they're going to have to use a lot to do so.
Yeah, they are tooth and nail fighting for each part of the map, but you push into David, you're going to lose your head. Down goes Kix. That opens things up. Yassine moves in. Takes down Masked, and that's a spike on the ground as well. David holding this corner. One hand outstretched, waiting. Yassine playing with fire around that corner. Mishu, in the meantime, has taken down Destructive with a Sheriff of his own. Yassine is just going to try and hold this spike now. There's not much more you can do. They have the numbers advantage, and Akimbo will take one with the Ghost. You don't really see a Ghost take down a rifle player too often, but there it is.
It gets a little bit greedy,
A double rainbow.
to be honest. Like, you have the spike right there,
Yeah.
but goes for trying to find those players. Oh, please check great.
Well,
Please check gate. Okay, Machina is actually going to be
Sunshine.
still able to find the pick.
Now, how many times
30
do I have to
seconds
tell
left.
you? I know you're listening to me. All of you. I know.
Machina
See
can just
what
anchor.
it's on Twitter.
He can literally just sit on site and wait. And if Hookahs go about this wrong, the potential for a
Not checking
collateral!
any corners.
Oh, it could have been bad, Twiggy. It could have been all three.
Been a lot
It
more.
reduces Akimbo to 20
seconds
HP.
left.
Mishu's got the Hunter's Fury, though. Can try to use the ultimate in case Bonka tries to go for that defuse.
Standing ahead.
Well, Bonkar is going to check some corners. That recon dart is going to find nothing. Now is the time to start defusing that spike. Oh, but he just taps it. He knows that Hunter's Fury is available. It's not going to find any info whatsoever. He's just slowing down that eventual push. Akimbo throws down the snake bite, but Bonkar is ready for that. Turns around the corner, gets the pick onto Mishu. Hunter's Fury of his own to try and displace Akimbo. Luckily, he misses by just a hair's breadth. Akimbo jumps down, but Bonkar will find the pick. And I think just in time, he'll have about a second remaining. Just less than that, maybe half a second. He will take the round for the team.
0.71 seconds,
Hey,
to be precise.
yeah, I mean, it was halfway between my two guesses.
It's so clinical as well when you have two Sovas with ults. Bonka using that Hunter's Fury from Mishu to track the position of the Sova is actually able to isolate the fight and take Akimbo out of the way so that you don't have a crossfire setup. And then it's so low HP as well coming out from Mishu that Bonka just needs a couple of those shots to connect and is able to get that spike defused just in the nick of time, as Finest will start to pull ahead. The Operator now going to be coming out from Machina, as Hookahs really can't afford to use that one weapon. And Destructive's even using the Viper's Pit to allow Machina to go forward super aggressively and hold in a position Hookahs aren't expecting.
Whoa, David. I mean, Destructive just got saved by a stray grenade. Somehow, David flies off into the distance. But inside the Viper's Pit, Hookah's just trying to make some more space happen here. Try and push the opposite team out of that.
Placing swarm grenade.
And there down it goes. Destructive gets some value out of it, but not as much as he'll probably have wanted. He has to back up just a little bit. That toxin screen is going to fall very shortly, which will allow Hookahs into the site. So Finest need to be ready for the retake as soon as possible. Out comes the res onto David, a second lease on life. Let's see what he'll do with it. Bonkar ready to start this retake. Destructive takes down Mishu, but David's immediate with the trade. Bonkar spraying down. The wall is there. Gets fortified before Bonkar can destroy it. And now, Hookahs have a little bit of time. They can reposition. Machina is on the flank, but I think they'll be ready for it this time.
Yeah, you can see Sunshine is just constantly vigilant, looking, flicking, 180s in front and then behind, expecting, trying to count the players that are there. As Finest haven't really been able to find it in until just now. There's the flash drive coming on through, sets Bonker up for one, is able to find a second. Machina coming from rafters. Everyone from Hookahs' attention is now being taken by the one fight in front of them. Machina is able to find one with the headhunter. The Sage was about to break. Unfortunately, swaps the weapon at the wrong moment, Twiggy. And Sunshine is able to pick up the Operator, the kill, and the round.
I do not know what possessed Hookahs to go maze instead of just going straight at the spike there. But if they had gone the other way, they would have both been taken down immediately by Machina. And yet they avoided death by absolutely nothing. They turned around the corner at just the right time that Machina couldn't get any value before they pushed onto that spike player. And Hookahs take the round by the smallest of margins. These two teams are inseparable at the moment. Hookahs now with the upper hand economically. They can make a push happen. They're going to be up against an angry Machina. He'll not have been happy with that, and he will take out his anger on David to start things off. The rest of the team will join him here over towards A as Akimbo tries to make his way in towards site using that snake bite to push out the players. Machina is going to walk straight into Mishu, but Mishu is going to walk straight into the bullet from his headhunter. Sunshine takes down Destructive. Akimbo getting on the board onto Kicks as well, but he's ready also for Machina from behind. And now they can get that spike down. Yassine misses the shot by just a little bit. The Viper's Pit is going to be taken out by Bonkar though. Yassine round the corner, not able to find any value with the operator. Bonkar trying to push out these players. There's only 2 to deal with, but he needs to push them out as quick as possible to get as much time on the spike defuse as he can. Sunshine comes in from above, cuts out all his dreams and hopes, making it 5 rounds against 4.
Yeah, still costly for Hookahs once again, even on an inferior buy. Finest still causing problems for Hookahs, allowing them now to buy into the operator and try and take advantage of the verticality that is available to that defense as soon as these rounds begin, trying to find that first pick. And Machina has really been a lot of momentum, a lot of reliance for Finest in these early beginning dregs of these rounds.
Play, let's play.
Yeah, there we go, Machina with the operator, David with the tour de force, and this really is a battle of the chambers this game. So far, Machina able to find the first pick, Rendezvous out of there before anything can be done about it. Hookahs just left to mourn the loss of their Killjoy, one of their biggest boons in flank watch. Machina manages to get away with his life, and the tour de force through the wall won't catch him either. Yassine takes off the head of Mishu, as Mast has made some headway on site, but actually needs to get a kill before he can get this spike down. Akimbo gets on the board onto Destructive. Destructive has been taken down so quickly in each fight so far. David onto Yassine, Bonkar onto Akimbo, 3v2. But 2 of those players are so low for Finest. It could really just be a leg shot. Kicks has come in from behind. Mast and David do not know about this, but they don't care about behind right now. They care about the site. It is going to be David who takes first contact. Kicks is ready to take the trade onto Mast. In comes David from behind to take down Bonkar, and now to 1v1. David versus Kicks. Playing it slowly. Kicks is ready for it, and he'll take the head off of David in 1 tap. 5-5. This is one of the closest games I have seen in a long time.
If Kicks had used the null command, it would have gone to show just how stressed Finest are about these rounds.
Yeah.
But will actually just go for the bullets, does not pop the ult, and Finest will still have it. And you need it to counter what Hookahs are coming in with on this round, because there is the lockdown now available. It should buy a lot of time, a lot of space, map control for this attacking team to be able to move forward. Something that Finest don't like allowing. They really are very proactive at the start of these rounds, trying to go forward, super aggressive. Look at the way that Machina was playing with that operator, right? The fact that you push practically all the way below Nest, knowing that David was coming in with that tour de force, most likely going to be either trying to push out of Garage or going for belt control, letting Hookahs move through maze pretty much undetected, because everyone is trying to avoid that chamber, stay out of the line of sight. They're not expecting him to be so deep, and this is something that Finest have been doing time and time again. Hookahs can use that lockdown to entirely avoid it.
Yeah. I mean, David, I get the feeling on defense, David is going to be a bit of a thorn for Finest. It's going to be quite annoying to deal with him. So I think Hookahs are counting down the rounds until they get to that other side. They do have a relatively defensive comp, let's put it that way. It's not great for pushing power, and we've seen that in a lot of their pushes so far this half. So we could call their results so far promising, in that they are keeping up with Finest to the best degree possible, especially against a double initiator comp. That is decent, but we won't know the full story until we move on to that second half. David diligently checking corners, but Yassine has a showstopper. He'll take a gamble, and it'll work out. Jackpot, Mishu and David. Lovely. Grenade goes in. That might get a little more value. I'll just jump in. Yakimbo manages to capitalize off that, but Kicks will just spray through the wall to get the trade. And they'll invest the ult as well. Big investment into this round, especially considering how little Hookahs, how little economy Hookahs have coming into it.
It is trying to funnel them either into mid, where they're going to run into Bonkar.
Oh my!
Or Machina, who does have that operator, and if they had tried to reposition towards the A, they would have been walking in no cover. to an
that's a
operator.
violation.
Bunker is now going to pop the Hunter through to once again try and split Hookahs, but misses the shot. Is not even able to punish the fact that that res animation rendered that player unable to move, and now it's destructive. Still sitting on this B site, going to try and stop this plant from going through. Lockdown is going to push the Viper away though, and Twiggy Masked is still in possession of the Sage Wall. If Hookahs play this right, if they get him fast off of the back of that lockdown, they should be able to have the space to push this spike in, but they're entirely unaware of where Finest are playing from, and that wall is not going to stop anything.
Él no sabe. They get the spike down, unscathed. Completely, David is watching from a great angle to take the head off of Bonka. Machina can do nothing from this position. It is all going to be up to Destructive to get the pushing power going before Machina can join the fight, get involved, but Sunshine will take the head off of Destructive, making it a 3v1 for Hookahs, and at this point Machina does not want to risk the life of his precious operator. He's going to get the hell out of there and give Hookahs their 6th round.
Oh, Twiggy, that Sage Wall was a gamble.
Oh yeah.
It was rolling the dice on whether or not that lockdown had actually been enough to push Finest, to threaten them away from the site, so that they're not close enough to stop the plant from going through. Instead, they used the Sage Wall to block back of sight, to stop Snowman from coming through. So if Machina had wrapped around with that operator, you wouldn't have been able to stop the spike from going on through. They roll the dice, and it comes up double 6s. For Hookahs, last round in the half, they can fully splash the cash.
Yeah, and Finest cannot. They have to buy up, obviously, last round in the half, but they don't have a lot of money. They have an operator, good to work with, and they do manage to get a rifle in the hands of Yassine, but apart from that, absolutely nothing to work with. Half armor and a sheriff is... That's bottom of the barrel. I feel sorry for them.
Yeah, Destructive is 2 picks, though, away from being able to get this Viper's Pit up and using the ult to try and funnel Hookahs towards the op player. Drones coming through from mid, trying to spot out whether there are players who are going to contest Machina, whether or not you can hold that angle. If Kicks can try and push them off the B site once again, that mid could be really nasty.
Well, you know what happens when you throw water in a nest is that they're all going to come out the other end very angry. Whoever is living inside that nest in the ground.
And
proverbial one.
Yeah.
Yes. And now they are emerging towards B, heading over towards site, playing their time safely. They don't want to invest too much utility. They want to let Finest invest some utility. There we go, perfectly on time, Kicks. Thank you very much. Because that's all they have to work with, is their utility, Finest. They don't have weaponry. They don't really have anything. The operator player is anchoring, and their rifle player is by themselves. So they're just going to be running into 3 sheriffs in this one, as long as they play their cards right. And so far, this is very, very well tempered from them. They just want to keep some time to themselves. Another aggressive wall, and they will not plant in a default location, but Kicks is going to be able to see exactly where that is. Yassine capitalizes off of the confusion and takes the head off of Mishu. David there to take one back. Sunshine gets involved as well. But Finest have congregated around this area now. Machina misses the first shot and lets them back in on site, but there's 13 seconds left to play with here. Machina is going to try and stop the plant at all costs. Sunshine takes the head off of 1, but Yassine gets 2 on the board. Sunshine able to get the plant down, but no more than that. Yassine with a 4K to make it a 6-6 once again, 2 maps in a row.
Woo! Once again, Kicks coming in absolutely clutch. Being able to get that deep onto site with the flash drive forces Hookahs not to be able to plant spike in default position. Means that they're left extremely open, and that Finest are able to immediately punch back, grab that space, get those players before they're able to pull themselves back into those safe positions where we see natural cover. Yassine's just able to pop out, gets 1, gets a 2nd, gets a 3rd. And that is going to be us moving on to this next pistol half. As once again, Twiggy, it feels like we're back on Fracture. 6-6.
Yeah, it really does. Oh, man. It's really hard to separate these 2 teams in any way whatsoever.
There is one way that we can separate it, and that is that Hookahs are now on the defense, on a composition that is very much hinged towards defensive.
They're going to be a lot happier on this side. Whether they can convert that to more rounds remains to be seen. You know, either team has shown that they can bring out heroics or tragedy at any given point. David forced back by the Raze utility. The Finest being held back by themselves by a toxic screen there. David playing hide-and-go-seek with the Boombot, but they keep them back for the time being at the very least, and
Toxin screen down.
although they're not taking more map position and stopping the flank from happening, or stopping the rotation from happening at the very least, they are keeping players anchored on B. They're keeping players in positions that are going to help them later on in the round, and if Finest head towards mid, they're going to be faced with the barrel of Mishu.
Yeah, Finest don't really have a win condition to be able to get the spike onto the ground, right? They're not running that stage, so they can't just wall up and speed on to B. So instead, they have to play these early rounds very cautiously, try and get as much information as they possibly can about where Hookahs are holed up. More importantly, where both the Viper, the Sage, and the Killjoy are, because those are free agents who can just use those utilities to keep Finest at bay and stuff them up in these really horrible maze angles. As Akimbo is also in a horrible angle, it's actually going to peek out right into the snake bite.
Throws his own down. Oh, get round that corner quickly, Akimbo. Oh, kicks jumps straight on his head, giving him no time to react whatsoever. Mishu can't quite find the shots onto Bonkar. Yassine takes down Masked. Now it's just David left. I mean, 1v5. How much can you do with that Headhunter? Not enough. It's a flawless first round of the half for Finest. Oh, it's looking good for them. But you never know.
What's the
What if
buy
they bring
looking
out
like?
what if they bring out 3 rifles and then throw the second half?
I see 1 rifle, I see 2 bulldogs, a marshal, and is it going to be a rifle?
Ah, destructive, isn't that irresponsible? No way.
I'm just waiting. I'm not gonna address the buy until it actually starts and you can't upgrade these weapons.
Luckily, I was correct. Destructive does not want the pressure of having that rifle in his hands. He'll back up. It's just a ghost. Oh, that's heartbreaking. David misses the shot at the critical moment. Machina will capitalize off of that miss. And in push, Finest. Mishu stuck in a corner. They do manage to get 1 pick, but it's just Akimbo onto Destructive, and Finest will swiftly close that one out, making it 8-6. Hookahs didn't really get involved in that round whatsoever, but at the very least, they do get 1 pick.
Yeah, they didn't really have the weaponry to be able to get involved. Like, this is when it gets really dangerous for Finest, because you're only 2 rounds ahead, and now not only do Hookahs have a composition which is geared towards being able to stop you from moving forward, they have the weaponry that's also going to stop you from moving forward, which is why Finest wanted to move forward super quickly. In that previous round, they knew they were really in tempo, they were in control of how Hookahs could try and push back into that one, and they wanted to stop any power that the defensive side has. This time around, they have to be more cautious because they've just lost the Marshal. It hasn't even been able to chip down the health bar for these 2 Bulldogs and 1 Spectre to bite, to sink their teeth into. And that means that they just have to get aggressive.
Yeah, this time around, David hits his shot. Kicks makes his way up onto rafters, but no, Sunshine isn't letting that happen. Mishu takes down Yassine as well. Means they can walk their way in now in a 5v2. And no more than that. Just 1 pick for Bonkar. That's a convincing rifle round for Hookahs against what was almost a rifle buy for Finest. So at the very least, they can be happy about that, but they still have to keep that momentum going.
They have to be trying to keep not only the momentum going, but they need to actually get onto these sites before Hookahs play their trump card, because Sunshine is 1 orb away from getting that lockdown online. It's the one thing that Hookahs have been properly pushing towards, as they know how impactful it can be when you're defending. You can use it to either push Finest away, and once again delay them from being able to have the comfort of checking all of these close angles, or you hold it for retake and punish the fact that Finest are buying into an operator. Yes, it can find a lot of value from afar, but at the same time, if you don't have control of that site and everyone's been forced away from it, no one is there to try and push you out from those defensive positions into its site.
David sees a lot of utility. Mishu helps him with the utility as well. Oh, the pick and the immediate rendezvous to get out of there just in time. Leaves Finest a player down. Oh, but Yassine just walks in and takes 2 heads away from the side. Showstopper invested, but won't get any value out of it. Mishu, quick with the uptick on that one. And he'll find the head. Masked, looking for more kills. Thirsty for blood. Bonkar finishes him off. And now it's just Akimbo. 1 versus 2. We've seen some heroics from Akimbo so far, but he's not 100% certain of the positioning of these final 2 Finest players. The plant goes down. Toxin screen goes up from Akimbo. He needs to push in soon. Luckily, nobody watching. Screens. Recon Dart pushes him back. Snake Bite. won't displace any players, and Bonkar has made his way up onto the higher level, edging his way forward, just trying not to alert Akimbo to his positioning. And as Akimbo creeps around the corner, it's going to be important for him to find this first pick onto Machina. Only then can he open into the round. Machina does not let that happen. 9-7 to Finest, and they're knocking at the door of their third map that they get double digits first.
It's close though. It's ever so close, Twiggy. One wrong move, one wrong buy, and Hookahs can just instantly snap that distance right back up. They've still got the lockdown. Unfortunately for them, Bonka has the Hunter's Fury. And now it becomes just a little bit harder to find the value on that one, because if you initiate with a lockdown, Bonka's going to use the ultimate to destroy it, and you put yourself into a position where you're the one giving up the space, you're the one allowing the other side to walk forward for virtually free.
You see him wants to clear some corners, and that he will do, but nobody's there. They are clear already. Hookahs playing it a lot more cautiously. They have a buy. It's not convincing, but it is there. Machina is going to be backed all the way up by the bodyguard that is the Owl drone. And Finest slowly make their way towards B, tentatively. They don't want to commit to it, but they do want to at least put some pressure on the Hookahs side, who are playing very heavily towards the B side. So Finest could definitely make a wrong choice here.
Well, Finest haven't really gone for fake plays that we've seen so far. Every single time they have hit one of these sites, it has been genuine, which is leading Hookahs into now thinking, okay, maybe it is going to be the A, maybe it might be the B. That, however, is immediately going to give the game away. Nano Swarm should be able to chip down a little bit of the health and actually stops the spike from going through.
Well, there's the help of the Killjoy, one of the few agents with telepathic abilities that you can set off halfway across the map, all the way across the map, in fact. And in combination with the orb, the Viper orb, that's going to do a lot of damage. It's going to stop Kicks from getting the spike down, and it's going to leave Finest with 20 seconds to push all the way into A, get that spike down, and fight off many players. In they zoom, destructive along the pipeline, but it's not going to get any pills. Mishu gets the first with the Spectre, turning around the corner. David is going to try and deny this plant, and it will happen. And Finest will not take this round unless Yassine can somehow flick across 4 members from one side of the map to the other. No chance. The lockdown was invested, which maybe wasn't completely necessary, but Hookahs, they're just happy they got the round on the board.
I mean, if you think about it, right, Finest are running with some really awkward economy. Yes, they're able to full buy, but because they've continuously bought into an operator, they are 1 round loss away from falling into that eco. And Sunshine, the fact that with 1 Nano Swarm over onto the B, you actually force them towards the A, stop the plant, and there isn't enough time for it to be a fake, for them to try and out-rotate if the lockdown comes out onto A. Instead, they have to just walk forward. They have to try and take it away and get that spike planted. And it's actually really smart from Sunshine to use that ultimate, knowing that Finest are going to be trapped. They either have to move on to the A and try and plant and win the fight, or they give up the round trying to save the weapons. And if they get caught on their retreat, Hookahs are going to be able to sweep those up too.
Well, this round, Bonkar is going to be using his Hunter's Fury as a tour de force, basically. Hey, I'm not going to buy. I've got Hunter's Fury. Does more damage from the pistol. We'll put it that way. And Hookahs have easily enough money to buy up into this round. At the very least, they're going to need to compound that a little further, though, if they want to make their way into the double digits before Finest can.
They should be able to equalize, though. Looking at what Finest are coming in with, right, we've got Machina with the Guardian trying to use those distance fights so you can still push into spaces like Belt or out from Garage. Destructive is 1 ult away from the Viper's Pit, but Mishu has the Hunter's Fury, which you can immediately stand on for. And we've even actually seen Sunshine using those Nano Swarms to push Destructive out from the Viper's ultimate, cancelling it out a little bit too early. And for Finest, because they're not running with that Sage, they don't have anything that can stop the bullets and soak them up until now. That null command has to come on through, and Sunshine, playing so far back, is able to find 2.
That's a lot of damage, especially after they had committed that ult. But Kicks is back up. Mask is trying to spray down that player where he last saw him, but to no avail. Sunshine trying to bring things back in their favor, but it is Mishu who gets the pick in the end. Spraying wildly into the smoke, but they have not found Destructive yet. And that Viper's Pit is doing a lot to keep back the Hookahs players. We're a little frozen here, but it's all good. A lot has changed since we've been gone. It's a cryo chamber, and Bonkar is only on 5 HP. The spike was never planted. Hookahs come away with the round, and as you said, they equalize. But that's a lot of casualty.
Oh, but for Finest, that's a heavy investment. They used the null command to try and overlap, to try and make up for the fact that they didn't have a better buy coming on through. And the fact that Sunshine was just still able to shoot, spray, and connect onto 2 just meant that Finest didn't have that momentum. The ultimate wasn't working to push them forward and grab that space and allow that spike to get planted. So they don't even pick up the money from being able to get a successful plant, nor do they really be able to find that operator, so that they have to buy into it in this round if they want to. But again, it's not a clean buy coming out from them.
Money! Anyway, just wanted to get that out. It was brewing up inside of me and I needed to...
It's the Scrooge McDuck moment.
Here.
It's the Krabby. Oh, David gets away with his life and does a lot of damage to Machina. But Finest, they don't want to give up on this. They want to head A. Oh, David misses the second shot. And Yassine will take the head off of him. Bonkar finds Mishu after he's done a lot of damage to the team, and Mask plays it very close to the chest, walking straight at a Boombot, no fear in the world, leaving 2 members of his team alive. Sunshine can clean up that round. And they manage to get 10 on the board. Hookahs are knocking on the door now. They want to take that upper bracket route. They don't want to let Finest take that one away from them. They worked so hard for that first map. It was heartbreak in the second. They're not going to let it happen to them again here in the third map.
Well, Krabby Quote's probably a crabby team Finest, because once again, they start off a round popping out an ultimate, and once again, even when they have a little bit of momentum, Hookahs are immediately able to still hold their ground and bat back. Finest will be able to full buy into this one, but it's getting really precarious, Twiggy. Hookahs are the first to hit double digits. If Finest aren't careful with their economy, they're going to put themselves into a position where they're on a force when Hookahs are sitting on match point.
Sunshine wants to keep hold of mid. In fact, Mask and Sunshine both want to keep hold of mid, and Yassine does not want to go any further than that. Kicks tagged up. The second is not quite going to hit, but the damage has been done. Shot through the heart, and David, no, sorry, not David, Mishu's to blame. You give the Hunter's Fury a bad name. Finest are going to push all the way on in to A. This time, they want to make it work, and this time they haven't lost a player immediately, so things are looking up for them, and they actually have 2 players on that flank. Look over to Tube. If I can direct your attention, on the left side of the map, you will see 2 players heading over towards Tube. One of them has made it into Kitchen, but David is already working on the rest of the team. If Destructive can get kills here, that would be massive. But Sunshine is ready for it. Gets headshot through the floor. Gets away with his life. Akimbo is waiting for this push from Machina, but misses the shot, giving him an opening into mid. 4v4 now, and Sunshine can just spray down Bonkar, who has no way in. That's the spike as well, which is massive. Machina will be able to pick it up, head over towards B, get the spike on the ground, and try and work with some positioning, even if they don't have the team members to hold them off.
Ooh, Sunshine, 10 HP. Still able to get the shot, still able to give the information on where that spike is headed. Should be able to meet up with their Sage as well to get the heal.
Big.
And in fact, Mass is taking a little bit of time out to get Akimbo back into this fight. It's now, friends, they do have the time. Hookahs are going to be coming in blind!
My God, Machina!
Leads to a collateral with the Vandal. Destructive is able to find David. Suddenly, lacking that information from Hookahs is massively costing them, as the tap onto the spike will begin to try and drop out their locations. And now it's a 1 versus 1. Akimbo's trying to tap out that spike, and Bait kicks into taking the fight. Doesn't actually manage to finish any half.
No.
And Kicks just has to stay alive and pop out at the right moment.
Oh, that hurts so much. Akimbo lets go of the spike just before the half. They work so hard for that round, and it slips away from them. 10-10 now. Finest keeping up blow for blow with Hookahs. Just about. This is an anime battle if I've ever seen one before. My lord. Look at this. Machina just taps away, finds 2 in quick succession. And that was what was the death toll of that round for Hookahs. If Akimbo not getting the half was enough, if he had some more support there, it could have happened. It could have been their entry into the rest of this upper bracket. As it stands, Finest make their way into the next round with just enough money to buy. And they make their way over. Here we go, I love that Viper's Pit. right up in the air. The Mont Blanc of Viper's Pits.
You mean the Mont Vert?
No. Well, I mean, yeah.
It's very green.
It is very green, I agree. Mishu is also green, with envy at Yassine's ability to shoot through smoke.
And now
That was a good
things...
joke.
Yeah, it
Laugh.
was a good one. I'm not going
Laugh.
to give you the satisfaction, damn it.
There we go.
Just like someone ordering you to laugh.
Laugh.
It's too infectious. But now things are really starting to slow down as Finest are going to be walking
Oh.
into Tube, into potentially a
get your
funeral
knife out!
procession. But Sunshine uses the knife to try and get their movement to be a little bit faster so they can try and get the information on whether players are walking up. Tube immediately gives that position away, and Finest are backing on out. Hookahs, though, they are just kiting.
Yeah.
They're making sure that they don't have kitchen control. They can't get fast rotations. If they go for one of these sites, they're going to be walking into an anchor with only 15 or so seconds left.
Yeah, they've headed over towards A now. And they're going to be walking straight into a Viper's Pit that maybe they thought Akimbo would have left at some point. No, they're just going to clear it with a showstopper. But it's right up close. He does manage to find the pick onto Akimbo, which gives them free entry into the site. It's free real estate, and they're going to use it to plant their spike and get their hooks into it. Machina is in a beautiful position to take the head off of Sunshine, and now there's only one player left. It's David, and he's going to try and stop Finest from getting their 11th round. But at this point, I don't think there's much to be said.
Just looking. I mean, he has a tour de force, right? You're not going to be able to take it into the next round. You've only got a classic. Try and find a pick. Try and move forward and get one of these guns away. But at this moment, I think David's just going to hold position.
I think he knows, at the very least, Finest are low on economy. If I get an exit, they're going to struggle a little bit moving into next round. Maybe not a lot, but at the very least, or well, they're going to struggle a little bit moving forward. Not into next round, obviously. They'll survive with several rifles. David is going to take that alt point. Actually, wait, no, he has full alt points already. Oh,
Yeah.
well.
That's heartbreaking for Hookahs, too. Because they played the beginning of that round absolutely stellar.
Yeah.
The Viper's Pit coming on through, Finest see it, they don't want anything to do with it. They evacuate. And then Hookahs are like, okay, well, we pushed them away from the A side. If we just continue to kite them around this map, they're going to run out of time, and eventually they're going to run into one of the players that we have anchored. If they run into David, you've got the rendezvous. You can get out safely without having to put yourself into a position of going for trades.
Yeah.
If they run into A side, they're running into a Viper's Pit, where you would think, okay, we've got an advantage. We should be able to slow them down. And then Yassine goes in with a showstopper, and Akimbo actually somehow manages to walk past the Razor's shoulder with Yassine not noticing, fluffs every single shot, and goes down.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Finest are going to get to match point again. And this time Hookah's a lot closer. A lot less of a monumental task to bring it back to overtime, but still, they don't want to be in this position. They're going to be very unhappy at this point, and this timeout is critical. What can they come up with to hopefully stop Finest from running away with things? Will they save into this round? No.
Yeah, they know they don't have time. Look at how close
the
Finest
half-life.
are to all of the ultimates, because Bonker is about to come online, Machina's is about to come online. Kicks, if you get one pick in this round, is going to have null command in the next. For Hookahs, they know. If they make a turnaround, it has to be now.
Mishu is going to be waiting around the corner patiently for the team to come through, but out comes the Owl drone. Is it going
Didn't
to check
clear.
it?
Oh,
there we
yes,
go.
there
Okay,
it is.
finally, I was going to say.
There's a little
it
bit
out.
to last moment, and then Mishu just goes straight into a blender.
Yeah, luckily didn't have too much value in his loadout, so not too massive of a loss, apart from obviously the Sova utility and the player itself. Master finds one with the Vandal, but Yassine is there immediately with the trade. And at least Hookahs have done a little bit of damage coming into this round. But at this point, it doesn't matter how much damage you get. This round means nothing unless you can win it, honestly, for the team. Finest are going to be able to buy next round no matter what. All you can do is stop them from getting match point here.
Ooh, that's risky. Sunshine's actually going to be crossing into
Oh
mid.
my.
So if Finest try and rotate over to the A, oh,
Come on.
the Killjoy just doesn't want to hold on. That's
Yeah.
Poison Orb, gonna make it really hard for Sunshine to be able to hold that space. Instead, is going to now move over to anchor over onto the A, with David falling into step behind. So if you get pressured, you can try and help out your friend. Recon Bolt is gonna be able to pick out the Killjoy's position. Toxin Screen comes through. David's able to look up and find Destructive. Spike is down, Twiggy, and suddenly it looks a lot more realistic for Hookahs to come out on top.
The spike is right up there if they just play their time. There's no way they can get up to that spike. They would have to do acrobatics to get to it. Finest have lost the spike in such an awkward position. Yassine finds a safe place to plant. Bonka finds the kill. David comes in. He'll only get one head for his troubles, and Yassine is able to make it match point just about. Hookahs were on the brink of being able to stop them from that one. But it's all going to be up to this round now. Their last full buy. They were saving up for this. Oh, if only they knew the spike was down up there. If only they knew that was where they had to defend. They could have held on to that round so much easier.
Unfortunately for them, just hidden by that Toxin Screen. And now it is going to be match point for Finest. Machina sitting on the tour de force. Bonka already in with the Hunter's Fury. If Hookahs want to win this round, it's going to have to start early. They're going to have to cut Finest off from one of these sites. And it's going to start off with an absolute banger of a kill. Yassine is down. Finest have lost a lot of pushing power. They're not going to be able to use paint shells to blindly clear these angles. Instead, they're going to have to put themselves into harm's way.
If there was ever a time for David to get on the board at the start of a round there, get his first kill, it was that time. And he's playing up close now. He's feeling himself, and the Toxin Screen is about to go down. Down the rendezvous goes. He's just going to push through it. Knows he has a safety, finds a head of kicks as well. Makes it a 5v3. Gives Finest an even more difficult task of taking this one away from them.
They still want A.
They still want it. They haven't given up.
Well, if they're able to get this spike planted, they're going to have mid-control.
Oh, they're not making their way in. Oh no, David sees Destructive by running straight into him. But Destructive notices quicker. Finds the kill, but now it's a 2v4. And what options do they have? Their wall is invested already. They don't have any utility to use apart from that smoke over at mid. And they have to rotate against 4 players
it's into the
with
Nana
30
Swarm.
seconds.
If they try and plant on default on B as well, it's going to be into the Nano Swarm. Sunshine is going to be able to stop them. And with only 20 seconds left, you just need to delay for a couple of seconds. Machina is going to pop tour de force.
Oh man, oh, up too close. And the no-scope from the tour de force will not find the legs of Akimbo. Destructive places that spike down, places the Viper's pit down, but getting whittled away by the snakebite. Has to move away from that location. Recon Duck pushes him out of the Viper's pit. Sunshine cleans it up, and Hookahs give themselves one last chance at getting to overtime.
It's the silver lining for Finest. It's such a silver lining for Finest that Kicks and Bonka go down before ultimates are invested. Because it means they still have a chance of being able to take this next round and preventing them from going into overtime, preventing them from finding themselves in a position that Hookahs have used to deny them a series win. But for Finest, this is where they've struggled the most, Twiggy, when they're on match point, when they just need one successful round in the bag.
Guys, no matter what happens in this round, I just want to say it's been an honor serving with you. This series has been the best of my life. I'm tearing up. It's okay. Composure. Both teams with a full buy. And they're walking right at each other. David is looking to get even more out of this first kill. Machina is going to be the one to turn around the corner. Drawing the fire with the Owl Drone is going to send him all the way back, and he gets tagged up by the first Hunter's Fury shot. It's not going to find him on the second or the third. He escaped with his life, but Finest, they've made their way in towards site, and Hookahs need to fight them away.
They're giving it up. Twiggy, they're playing fully for retake. They've got a lockdown. Null Command is going to run out, and then they're going to drop the Killjoy and come back.
Well, they're playing their time. They're playing it well. Mishu drops down and finds the first pick onto Bonka. He's looking for more. The shock dart will take down Destructive. There's only one player here on towards site. Kicks, biding his time over towards default, but David takes him down. Yassine tries to push him. Mishu finds his third, and the spike is defused. We're going into overtime for a second map. Hookahs are fighting tooth and nail for this one. David taken down. Machina, there's not much more you can do. You're not going to do any economical damage here to Hookahs. We're heading to overtime. Again, guys, I can't deal with it. I can't deal with it.
It's okay, Twiggy. It's okay. Deep breaths.
Me.
It's just 2 more rounds, potentially. Just 2 more rounds. That surely is what these teams are both experiencing.
Yeah.
For Finest, it has to be the most demotivating situation that they've had in all of the games that they've played in Polaris, in regular and in playoffs. They've come so close to being able to finish this out in a 2-map series. They looked so strong on Icebox. But we said when we looked at the composition that Hukas came out with, this is going to be a team that's strong on defense.
Indeed. Machina has brought out the operator here. The glass cannon, as it would be called, and Hukas are walking right into that cannon. Whether it shatters, whether it finds the pick, that is the question. Machina posted up, waiting for a head to shoot. David, he dodges it. No value gained from this first. And he has to get out of there, but he will find the return onto David, and he will back out. Now he's gained that control. Given the plant away to Hukas, but at the very least he's gained his team a little bit extra time to push into this one. Mast is posted up, he'll find 2! Destructive is there with the trade eventually, but that makes it a 3v3. And Finest, they haven't made any position happen. Hukas still have control of the site, they still need to push him, they still need to get more picks. Mishu will find the body of Yassine. Destructive through the smoke finds the head of Mishu, making it a 2v2 now. A pop flash through the toxin screen, comes up with nothing, but Destructive takes down both of them. He'll get the defuse, he'll make it one away once again. Can Hukas bring it back this time?
That's so important, Twiggy. Finest needed to win that round. As Hukas, they're now on defense. This is a side that we talked about, that we have sung their praises for. Sunshine has been a monster at shutting off the B side, at forcing Finest into the arms of the waiting members of the rest of Hukas, waiting, frothing at the mouth for a team to walk towards them over onto the A. And it's going to be something that Finest are going to have to deal with once more. But Hukas, they call a timeout. There is strategy here, Twiggy. They know they need to take this round if they want to have a chance at continuing this series.
If they do not win, both teams, if they don't manage to win this map, all of that work will be for nothing. It doesn't matter if you win 2-1, if you win by 13-0, 14-12, it does not matter. You're dropping down to the lower bracket either way. If you lose this game, it all counts for nothing. You've invested all of that, all of these hours of work, blood, sweat, and tears, probably quite literally, to find absolutely nothing. You'll be dropping down to that lower bracket. You're going to have to fight your way back up into the finals, and that is a daunting task against the 4 teams that we have here in the playoffs. Both teams are going to put everything into this round. Hukas just for another taste of the cherry. Finest to send them into the Shadow Realm.
It's going to be so tense for both of these teams. Finest cannot afford to slip up. They cannot afford to lose their chamber first. David, look at how aggressive this chamber is, all the way into pipes. Mishu is going to provide a little bit of a distraction, but it's enough. Finest, they're being so cautious about how they approach the A. The drone has spotted out that there's still players. David's still going to be in position.
He turns around the corner, he sees the cape. The cape of Bunker does some damage, but no more than that. It pushes Finest back just a little bit, and Hukas can come away with, if nothing else, slightly more HP than the enemy team.
It's forcing them to
Finest head towards mid. The alarm bot is down, but that's to stop an A flank, not to stop a B push. They're going to have to hold this down from Kitchen if they want to keep them away from this one. Yassine walks straight at that alarm bot, and now they know exactly where they are here. Hukas have all the information to deal with, but they have so many places that they need to take a hold of. Akimbo sees that go down, but doesn't manage to find the pick. Destructive gets the first. He'll just replace that. Try and keep away these players. The Poison Orb is just going to do so much work twice in a row to keep them well back, and now they've given themselves an opening to plant there on B.
Poison Orb stopped any control of Kitchen. Hukas not going to be able to have a clean rotation over onto that B site. Unfortunately for Finest, they don't really have a lot of members who are sitting right around that spike. The thing is, Hukas don't know where Finest are holed up. Master's right on top of the spike, has no idea. He's going to see the recon ball! is able to try and pull
Sunshine!
this location, and Sunshine is going to be out
No!
versus one the National. 11 HP. Finest able to finally finish off the series. Finally able to find that last point that they need. And it's going to be a finish of Icebox.
What?
What a way to close out that game. Finest are going to be walking away with the win. And at this point, MP, are they giving away the first map just so they can come back with the reverse sweep?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't think so. That was way too tough for them. That was way too tough. I have chills, like literally, I have chills
Oh, you do?
over that.
What? Yeah, goosebumps.
And it's not even because I'm cold. I have a jacket right here, but that is insane. The last round down to 11 HP. That is the difference of a second overtime or a lower bracket run for Hukar's upper bracket for Finest.
There was a distinct difference between this game and the previous, right? The previous two. This was close. This
Yeah.
was very close, very back and forth. I think both teams were afraid to make mistakes. It was a very classical Valorant game. Nothing too new, nothing too crazy, right? It was standard takes, retakes, trade games, simple stuff, which is good, right? Both the teams need to get themselves to a lower level, to a level where they can fathom what is going on, because when it's too hectic, things go wrong, and we've seen it from both sides.
Yeah.
And I guess it's Finest to win the clutches in the end, right?
Yeah, but I mean, Hukars, they had really great clutches as well. They had good chances right there. But in the end, it's 2 versus 4. Hukars, they make the best out of it. Literally, almost the best, I would say. 11 HP, that is the difference. Sunshine even so close of hitting that shot. One bullet with like a random spray pattern would have been the end of Finest on that round.
Same win-lose ratio in the regular season. Pretty much similar performances in the playoffs when they play up against each other.
Yeah.
They're neck and neck.
It's going to be forcing Hukars into that lower bracket, but again, we can't take too much away from them. MVPs, Yasin and David, and the fact this is the theme that we've seen over the last couple of games is every single game it's going to be different players on different roles that are going to be shining.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Yasin has had like a kind of, I would say, shadow performance. He's been on the top, but not quite literally the MVP, but now he popped off. Same for David. Absolutely great entries with the chamber popping off at the late stages of this match, finding those crucial entries. I think, as Twiggy said right there, like that was one of the best entries, I think, on round 22. Getting that and bringing themselves to that 11th round was so crucial. But Yasin as well, the utility. Raze usually on Icebox, it's kind of iffy. I have a lot of question marks, but Yasin made it work.
I think you're right. That was the point I wanted to make today. Yasin has played Raze on all 3 maps today. Question marks on a couple of them, you know, but I think something else that we want to mention here is Destructive's performance, right? And very integral in the first 2 maps. When he was online, the team was doing well, and he was one of the reasons why they won the second map as well.
Yeah.
He wasn't this time around, which I kind of like, that Yasin was stepping up to the plate and relieving some of that pressure from his Turkish teammate. And I think it's good that the rest of them were able to come back in the end, because I'm actually very curious what their mental, what their psyche was, and how they were able to come back from it, because it can't be easy.
Yeah, well, I'll hold that question because we have an interview ready with Bonkar specifically, so we will be able to ask them individually how they're feeling, how that mental went. So first of all, hello, Bonkar. Welcome and congratulations on the win. How does it feel that you guys are now going to be going up against XL?
Thank you. Feels good. We'll see how it goes tomorrow.
I mean, I think right now you're at the situation where the first map seems impossible. Are you just giving it out, or what is the situation right there when you go on the first map? Well, you get the reverse sweeps, obviously, but I think the first map is a struggle for sometimes.
I'm not really sure what's happening on first map. Doesn't matter if we're up 12-0, we're gonna lose it anyways somehow. We're working on it. We're talking about it. Shouldn't have happened today. Shouldn't have happened many other times. But hopefully we can step it up now.
Well, Bonka, don't want to keep you here for too long. You seem tired. That series was quite a difficult one. I guess for a final question for me, it would be, how did you come back from it? What were the mental steps you were able to take? I know your position in the team is very integral, right? IGLing and everything. How were you able to come back from that comeback Hookahs did on map 1?
I mean, it's not the first time it has happened. It's not the first time we've come back from it. So, I mean, it doesn't matter. You know, every game is a individual game. Every round is a new round. Doesn't matter if you're with how much you're down or how much you're up or how many maps. It literally doesn't matter. You play round by round, map by map, and that's just how it goes.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time for the interview. We can tell that it's been a long day, so please do enjoy your rest as you have a game tomorrow against Excel. Hope to see then what you guys can come up with and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Bye. Well, the fact that this time around, there is an admission that yes, there are some issues that we need to work out on, and there are a couple of mistakes that we make. Yes, we do take it round by round, but you're up against Excel tomorrow. They're up against Excel tomorrow, MP, and that is a scary thing because Excel, yes, it was free form today, but they still performed very well.
Yeah, I mean, I think round by round mentality is really good for you because it doesn't lead you onto like a bad mentality necessarily if you lose few rounds. And I think that could definitely play a part on Finest, maybe getting a map from Excel. But I think today Excel, they were just proving that they're so much better on a different level, I think, especially when we look at this map. Obviously, Excel didn't have the best of performances today, but when we look at group stage, I think that Excel is looking so good. They have so much stuff prepared. I'm so excited to see that tomorrow.
I think coming into playoffs, we all knew that the crutch of this region is consistency. I'm going to say we've here because I think we all feel for the teams competing, right?
Yeah.
Is that a lot of them are capable of greatness. They have achieved greatness, but being able to do that in a consistent fashion is something they're all battling for. And I think in regards to how Finest and Hookahs play today showed what that is, what that looks like really, right? We got a taster of that in the first day of playoffs. What Excel have showed though is that they're still number one, right? And I think in regards of consistency and throughout the season, they were the ones that were able to do it. Yeah. I think they've realized the lack of consistency when they played in the VALORANT Regional League Promotion Tournament, right? So they've fixed a lot of those integral problems that they've had. I don't think they'll fall victims to... I know that this is very early, right? We've got another couple of days. I don't think they're going to fall victims to a Team Finest or Hookahs we saw today. But there's an evening, there's a day, there are a couple more opportunities for these guys to fix up some mistakes, maybe go in with the mentality that they've got nothing to lose and enjoy the game to relieve some of the pressure on them, because I think that also plays a big difference. I've been rambling for too long. I hope we can see better from these two teams.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think that is definitely what we are looking up for tomorrow.
Yeah, Excel had that wake-up call back in the VCT Promotion Tournament, and they've been able to fix those mistakes. You're absolutely correct, but the fact that they played the way they did today still means that they're going to be proceeding to tomorrow. They are in that upper bracket. We can have a look at it specifically because they're up against Finest once again, as they're the winners of this match too, which means that Hookahs and Kova, they're in the lower bracket. Considering the predictions of talent so far today, that is definitely something that we expected to see. But the saddest thing, however, is going to be that tomorrow, MP, we're going to be saying goodbye to one of these teams.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for tomorrow. I think that Kova Hookahs match is going to be really tough. It's going to be really tight. Hookahs, if they have a good day, if they have a better day than tomorrow, I think they can definitely dominate Kova. But I think looking at today, I think Kova has a shot of winning that game. But other than that, I think if Hookahs, they play their A game, I think Kova is kind of far from Hookahs' best game, especially with the new changes coming in. I think they are kind of scattered all around.
Yeah, and besides the fact that Excel and Finest were the ones who won today, I myself did also win a couple of nice points. I get to keep a hold of that Radiant symbol alongside Sam. She might not be here in person, but she's definitely here in spirit, leading the charge, 21 points. I'm sorry. Sorry, Twiggy, and I'm sorry, Kareem, you guys. with the lose a point there. But you know, it is what it is. Are you guys comfortable with your predictions for tomorrow? Do you know where you're going to be swaying to, Howless?
I mean, yeah, I've got a spoiler for that. I'm going to
You
go with
do?
Excel and Hookahs.
Copy him if you want points.
Copy me, but I'm a point behind, so I might be switching things up in the hopes of some upset. You know, I want that Radiant Crown. Who doesn't?
I mean, I did that on, I think, week 6, and look at where I'm now.
Yeah.
18 points. Like, I was
did it
on
too.
the lead.
Yeah.
I was on the lead with Radiant Crown.
We've all been
I think with you and
No.
Sam.
I didn't have the
at
Radiant
least-
Crown, but I did a bit of an oopsie with my prediction, and it turned out right.
Oh,
so, you know.
Wow, mine
Yeah.
went straight down the drain. I mean, it was close. It was close, my copium. But still, in the end,
Yeah.
it just didn't come through. And now I'm 18 points, while Ginny, this one,
Yeah.
21.
21.
How does that
I
even
mean,
happen?
That's
Yeah, it's just, you know, Genie Big Brain, 5 head at the end of the day. I'm just as smart as everyone else here. However, if you also want to stay up to date with these predictions or any of the action happening at VRL Polaris, make sure that you check out the socials. So we got Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. There's a YouTube channel as well for the VODs that are going to be available that you can have a look at. That's it from us for today. We're going to be heading to bed. It is getting pretty late. Thank you guys so much for watching. It was an incredible pleasure. We're going to be back tomorrow, so make sure you drop a follow for the Twitch as well, because we have more certified bangers coming your way.
Mid. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. Spike down A. Last player. One enemy remaining. Spike planted. Last player standing. You're nothing, my way. One enemy remaining. Spike planted. One enemy remaining. Spike down. One enemy remaining.
Got you. Can't use that.
One enemy remaining. One enemy. Spike.
Target down. There.
Player standing. One enemy remaining.
Coming through here, Shed is just right round the corner, waiting for them. He'll find 4.
He's actually saved by the Cosmic Divide. Ale good for 3 as well. Just tears through them.
Through that teleporter. A bit more safety, but he's right after him. Okay.
Minshew hiding with him.
Oh my god!
Game awareness! But it's Alex to come up alive again. Ooh, destructive. Put him to his grave! Against 3, they know where he is. Spray down not available for him. Flash drive looking at punish it. Kicks gets 2!
Chihuahua's still there, rolling but because that Chihuahua picks up 3.
Position, they can hold this crossfire.
Oh no!
The collateral double kill!